Hello YouTube. Welcome to Tabletop Month. This is my channel, Amalgam Image Zero, and I am Calvin. To kick off this belated month, why don't I tell you a few stories of my limited experience as a GM. Before I start, I would like to say that I faced a few pratfalls due to my inexperience as a GM. But they became exacerbated by one of my players, someone to whom I was close until late last year, being one of the least patient people I've ever met. Story 1. The game was a fantasy age campaign set in the world of Suikoden, which I had dubbed Signs of Life after video game review YouTuber, Super Derek RPG's video about the then recent activity on the Suikoden section of Konami's webpage. Before I go further, Suikoden is a turn-based RPG inspired by Chinese novel, The Water Margin, where people can channel magic through symbols called runes, and the stories were all centered around wars started by or for true runes. The story began with the players being hired by my DMPC, Sayaka Archhollow, to find her missing sister, Cereza. The party set out encountering enemies such as blade bunnies and air drakes along the way, and when they rested at an inn for the night, they overheard a rumor about Cereza being seen in a nearby town. The party sets out and is intercepted by the first boss of the campaign, a Garuda, which they defeat with some ease, but then, according to the player I mentioned before, I didn't award them enough XP, so I gave them some, for their level, high-tier items, and ended the session there. The next session, after an impromptu shopping trip, the party learns that Sayaka's sister was seen at an old house nearby, and they, along with another of my DMPCs, go to investigate, only to turn up nothing. It's here where the players learned that Cereza was taken by a pair of thugs pretending to be her uncles, which is why it was never looked into to begin with. Upon further investigation, the party finds her at a warehouse doing some combat training when one of the uncles comes to check in on her. The players made short work of him, and the other uncle was defeated by the other DMPC, Fuyoshi, in a duel, and that's where the campaign stopped. This was due to not only my then job taking up a fair bit of my time, but also due to other creative endeavors holding my interest. However, if I had chosen to continue on with the campaign, the party would have witnessed an NPC wielding a true rune known as the Rune of Change to stop a disaster in the town the party was staying in at the time. That would have led to them encountering other people who had wielded the true rune's power, only for it to move on to someone else, leaving them with a rune of preservation granting them similar abilities to what they had used the change rune for. This would be later revealed to be because they used the Rune of Change's power to maintain the status quo instead of effecting a change. It would also be revealed that the person they brought in to run the item shop is actually the ruler of the Harmonian Empire and the campaign's main antagonist, Hakusake. He was out to monopolize the power of all the true runes for himself and his people, and the campaign would have ended with the party destroying the device he had built to harness all the runes' power. But as I said, I lost interest in continuing forward with the campaign. Story 2. The game is what I, at the time, called Pokemon Frontiers, and I pulled out all of the stops creating classes, feats, abilities, etc. The campaign and setting were basically Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but everyone used weapons, and the class and type of the Pokemon determined what moves the player characters could use. The story of the campaign was set in the Kanto region, and my players were journeying to the Viridian Forest to offer aid to a group of psychic-type Pokemon calling themselves the Esper Foundation against raids by a tribe of bandits. The players were a Charizard who took the Explorer class, basically the Ranger class, a Haunter who took the Shadow class, which was the game's version of the Rogue class, and I can't quite remember which Pokemon the last player chose, but they were the Brawler class, which, you guessed it, was the game's Fighter class. For the mission, I had them accompanied by two DMPCs, an EV named L who was the Evoker class, which was the standard in-game magic user, and a Ratuda named EDI who was also Explorer class. Now, before I go on any further, I'd like to explain that I had all of my player characters start at level 5, yes, the Charizard included, as I had set a level tier system, as evolution in this world was essentially puberty for Pokemon. And as a result, the players would only be able to use the moves that the Pokemon they played as would be able to use at that level. But getting back to the story itself, on their trek to the Esper Foundation's base, the party ran afoul of some Beedrill, and this is where I ran into trouble. I don't know if I took too long to describe what was going on, but the players just started table talking, which I wouldn't mind normally, but they were doing it while I was describing what was going on, and that made quite frustrating to GM for this particular group. Well, the next session comes around and the party finally makes to their destination, only to find it being besieged by the bandit tribe. The players make quick work of most of the bandits but struggle against the leader, a Gengar Evoker, but eventually overcoming him, and that's where I ended that campaign. I honestly didn't enjoy GMing for that group anymore, so I stopped the entire campaign after that last session and never GM'd for them again. Now I'm slowly piecing together my own TTRPG, Wonderstone, and I've converted everything from Pokemon Frontiers to it with some changes, i.e. the Shadow class is now the Vigilante class. But I have compiled all of the notes that I still have from that game into a document under the name I would have used had I continued on with it and posted it to my Ko-fi page, which I'll link in the description of this video. But for now that's all for the tabletop stories. See you in the next video. So until next time, I'm Calvin. Please like, share and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Also, if you want to follow me anywhere else, I have a Twitter account, Tumblr account, Instagram account, both a personal and author page on Facebook and Fur Affinity account. And I'm trying to build a creative career of my own, so if you like what you see in this video but want something in a written format, then I have a page on Ko-fi where I post short stories, concepts for stories that I don't have the resources to do, and summaries for future projects for here on YouTube. And if you like what you see there, then please consider donating to my page. It's $3 and you can choose to do one-time or recurring donations. Either way, every little bit helps me grow my platform. Links to everything in the description below. Enjoy yourselves. This has been Amalgam Image 0.